What up, guys? Questler here, and today we're back for another video after like a year. But in this video we're going to be covering my college degree, all the classes that I took that are related to it. And yeah, I recently graduated in May from Bradley University with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, and we're going to just be talking about it today. I'm going to go through all the classes that I took and give like a brief description of what it covered. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be a great time, and yeah, let's just get right into this. All right, so we're gonna start off with my freshman year, first semester. I took two classes that were related to my degree. CS 101, which is Intro to Programming. This class covered Java. It covered variables, if statements, methods, classes, arrays, and towards the end we covered array lists, which is a data structure, but it kind of was like a little taste of what the next CS class that I'd be taking in the spring would have been, or what it was. But yeah, we covered like a little array list, which is pretty cool. It's nothing like too crazy, but it's, you know, we covered that at the end. And then the other class I took that was related to my degree was Math 121, which is Calculus 1. This class just covered limits, derivatives, a little bit of integrals. It was mainly that. It was Calc 1. It's pretty self-explanatory, so it's pretty cool. You know, Calc 1 is it was pretty difficult, gonna be honest, coming from high school math to Calc 1, and I realized that my studying habits were really bad. So that was a quick wake-up call there. But yeah, it was pretty cool. My second semester, I took CS 102 and Math 122. So CS 102 was a continuation of CS 101, where we covered data structures. So towards the end of CS 101, like I had mentioned, we covered array lists. Well, this class covered a lot of different data structures. We got stacks, queues, trees, heaps, linked lists. It covered all that. We made them from scratch, so we had to make them from scratch in Java to understand how they work and stuff like that. In the real world, you would never actually do that unless you need to make like a custom data structure. But yeah, we actually made them from scratch to pretty much, you know, learn how they work and how it all goes together, which is pretty cool. It was a great time. It was a good class. It was kind of interesting. I learned a lot in that one. It was kind of cool to learn all the different data structures. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. Math 122 was Calc 2, so this is a lot of integration. So it was different methods of how, you know, different ways of integrating different functions. We learned different like series, like the Taylor-Maclaurin series. Everyone hates those. It was a little bit of differential equations too, and kind of like giving a little snippet of that. I never actually took a diffie-qs class, so I don't know. Apparently that's a great time. But yeah, a little bit of diffie-q, just a little taste, just to get you, you know, your little diffie-q fix for Calc 2. And it was a lot of integration, so it was pretty cool. It was actually really neat because there were some things in like earlier math, like I'm gonna go off on a tangent here, but you know how like you have the formulas that you'd get for like a cone or a sphere in like elementary school? Yeah, well, those come from calculus. You learn how to make an integral that rotates over an axis, and you could make it produce that formula. A really complicated way of doing it. Well, I don't know why you do it that way, but it's there. It's pretty cool. All right, so the next year, sophomore year of college, I took quite a few CS courses. The first one I took in the fall semester was CS 140. This was Advanced Programming Concepts. This class covered C++, so we were just done with Java. No more easy programming language anymore. No more high-level BS. You're going C++ now. So C++, we covered a lot of the data structures that we covered in the data structures class, but now like in C++. So like no more references or anything like that. You were dealing with like pointers now. So you learned about pointers, the syntax of C++, header files, just the basics of C++. It was a great time. There was this one project I had to do where I had to make an ordered linked list on the heap, which is a different part of memory, not the heap data structure. That's a different thing. But the heap memory, because you have like stack memory and then you have like heap memory, right? We can cover those in a later video. I can cover the CS topics if you guys want that. If you guys want like a video on the difference between stack memory and heap memory, we can cover that. We learned that in that class too. But yeah, I basically had to make an ordered linked list on the heap. And oh boy, it was a great time. It was probably, I distinctly remember it because trying to get it to work, and pointers were just like new to me. So it was a good time. Yeah, I took CIS 497, which is now at Bradley CIS 350. That's Intro to Unity Game Programming, so that's related to like my channel here and stuff like that. It's also related to what I want to do as a career. But yeah, I covered the introduction to like, Unity, C#, stuff like that, how, programming works with Unity. Really not a crazy class. It covered a lot of the basic stuff regarding Unity, which is pretty cool. And I took discrete math the first semester, which discrete math covers a lot of cool things. It's basically computer science math. It covered graph theory, set theory, mathematical induction, because you may need to prove things. It covered like error correction using like binary. It was like, it's basically math for computer scientists. It's pretty cool. It covered a little bit of like hexadecimal and stuff like that. It was a pretty cool class. It was a good time. Yeah, it was just basically math for computer scientists, I guess. But yeah, that was pretty much my first semester of my sophomore year. My second semester, I took 2 more computer science classes in addition to a math elective. So I took computer architecture, which is CS 220, which is basically like covers like the hardware aspect of computer science. So how CPUs work, how RAM works. It covered, IO, stuff like that, hard drives, all the components and stuff like that, the bus, stuff like that. So it covered those kind of things. It was more the hardware aspects. It also covered math, binary, math, how to do math in binary, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, those kind of things. It covered hexadecimal. So like you could read memory. We had to read assembler. We had to also code in assembler a little bit too, which is an absolute pain in the butt. If you want to suffer, go look at some assembler code. It's a good time because you have to like manage, like C++, you have to manage memory because there's no garbage collection or anything like that, right? But assembler, no, you're moving data from like different registers in the processor. It's a good time. Give it a try sometime. The other class I took was CS210, which is Advanced Data Structures and Algorithms. That class was more C++. It was covering a lot of different algorithms like Dijkstra's algorithms, more advanced data structures like hash maps. It really came together. One of the core things that you learned in the class was that every program is made of 2 things, and those 2 things are data structures and algorithms. That's every program out there. Video games, your banking app, your freaking mom's dating app. Yeah, all of that is all freaking algorithms and data structures. Every program. So it was more data structures and algorithms. We covered a lot of different algorithms. I probably couldn't even name them all, but we did cover some of the sorting algorithms too, like bubble sort, merge sort, quick sort, those things. Those are like the first thing we covered in that class because we were also covered those in the CS 102. But we covered them with respect to C++. So yeah, that was a very interesting class, and there's a lot of different algorithms we learned. And then I took Math 223, which is Calc 3. Math of the 3 dimensions. That's the best way I can describe it. You got freaking 3 dimensions now. You're not just doing integrals and derivatives over a flat plane. No. You're doing it in 3D. So it's really calculus in 3D. It's pretty cool. It was an interesting class. It kind of rounded out my math. To be honest, I really didn't want to do any more math after that. I really did not have fun with Calc 3. It was a good time. But it was an interesting class, to say the least. So take Calc 3. Highly recommend it as a computer scientist. You'll never use it, ever. Although it did cover matrices a little bit too, which I actually covered in discrete math also. We're not going to worry about that. That's like big boy math. We're not going to worry about big boy math. All right, so my junior year, it slowed down a little bit on the CS courses. I took more gen eds the first semester, and I took more CS courses the second semester. So my first semester I took CS 215, which is computability, formal languages, and heuristics. This covered like the theories in computer science. So no longer were you programming. No. Well, there was a little bit of programming. There were some programming exercises in the class that we had to do in C++ or C. But really it was like, we covered finite state machines. So, non-deterministic finite state machines and deterministic ones, Turing machines, kind of how they describe how computers work to some extent, because like really you can describe computers in different states, right? So when it's processing things, there's different states of data and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting how that all like comes together. Turing machines, basically like your computer is a Turing machine just with limited memory, because the Turing machine is basically like you have this head that can read and write to an infinite tape of ones and zeros. So your processor basically is that head that is able to read and write, and like your RAM is that infinite tape, except that your RAM actually is not infinite. Can you imagine if we have infinite RAM? Like, I wouldn't need to upgrade my computer to do my job. I could just like more RAM. It's infinite. That'd be great, honestly. Someone invent infinite RAM, please. I need it. I know it's not possible, but you know, I can dream, right? Anyway, so yeah, I took that, and then I took quantitative analysis. This is like little boy statistics. This is QM262. It's little boy statistics. It's basically statistics for business people. I didn't take the big boy statistics class. It was too complicated. It was calculus-based statistics, and I'm clearly having a problem speaking today. But yeah, I didn't want to take that one. I took the easier statistics class. It covered, you know, the basics of statistics, you know, it covered like, you know, distributions, you know, stuff like that, you know, bell curves, p-values, probability, all that sort of stuff. It was pretty cool. It was interesting. And it kind of showed how math can be manipulated too. That happens a lot with statistics. It's a lot of manipulation. You are really playing with those numbers, I'm telling you. Take a statistics class in high school or something. I don't know what grade you're even in. I don't even know if you're in school. Take a statistics class online. You'll learn something cool, I guess. Or just take more CS courses, because you don't need statistics. You do, but you know. All right, so for my second semester of my junior year, I took CS 330, which is net-centric computing. This class covered networks and programming. This class covered in C, so like by this, and we actually use Python too. By this point in my college career, it was expected that you'd be able to just pick up a programming language like this, because you already understood the concepts. So you should be able to code in Python, no problem. You should be able to code in C and be able to learn it. So on your own, without having like any guidance, right? Because in industry, that's how it is, right? You go and get a job, you're going to be learning whatever programming language that they're using, or whatever structures, you know, not structures, but frameworks and libraries that they're using. You're expected to just learn it. So it's the same thing with this class. It covered how to, you know, networking stuff, TCP/IP, UDP/IP, HTTP protocol, the different layers of the network stuff too. It was a really interesting course. Learned a little bit about hardware too, just a little taste. But yeah, it was interesting. It was a cool class. We actually made a couple programs in C. We made a program in C where we made two computers talk to each other, basically like a little messaging app just in the console. That was pretty cool. And I also made a rock, paper, scissors game that was multiplayer. And I took CS 370, which is database management systems. This covered relational databases, MySQL or MySQL, whichever way you want to call it. Doesn't really matter. We don't judge here. It covered that. It covered normal forms, databases, you know, just generally. We covered how to make ERDs for databases, you know, the diagram that you have all the different database, you know, tables and stuff like that on. Covered that. It was all about databases, which is pretty cool. And then during that semester, I took CS 390, which is Intro to Software Engineering. So this covered like the software development life cycle. It covered a lot of different like UML diagrams, class object diagrams, freaking data flow diagrams, context data flow. It covered a whole bunch of different like diagrams in the software development life cycle. We had to like plan out like as if we were making a software, what development life cycle we were going for. You know, like we want to do agile or waterfall. You would never do a waterfall development these days, but most programs are agile these days. But you know, those kind of things. It covered all that. It was pretty cool. It actually covered a lot of software engineering topics. So, and what software engineering really is. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It kind of taught, you know, about the bridge between what customers want and what programmers have to do, and how you have to kind of like bridge the gap in communication so that way the right thing is being made, because programmer talk is different than like customer business talk, you know? They're two different things. So yeah. And this actually relates in other places too when you have a multidisciplinary project, but we'll talk about that later. My freaking senior year. All right, so my fall semester, I took CS 321, which is operating systems. This is like a continuation of computer architecture. This like taught about how operating systems work. We did a lot of programming in C, not C++, but C, and we used Linux, which is cool. So you learn a little bit about Linux. We covered different freaking scheduling algorithms for processors. We're learning about threads, like how each processor, has a certain amount of threads on it, but like when you program, you make like threads too. So like you can make like hundreds of threads, multi-threaded applications. Very cool. We covered, oh boy, a lot of stuff. It was a lot of stuff relating to operating systems, how operating systems are really interrupt driven, which processors, interrupts are like, the processor would be doing something, but then it stops doing a thing to go do another thing, right? That's what an interrupt is. So operating systems are driven by that, right? Because every time like you're inputting on your computer, you're causing an interrupt to happen, right? Your processor is going to stop doing what it's doing and it's going to do another thing. We also learned about how processors really, a single core processor really only can do one thing at a time, but it just does it really, really fast. So it makes it seem like it's doing hundreds of things all at once. So if you have an 8-core processor, it's only able to do like 8 things at a time, but it just does it really, really fast. Your freaking 4.3 gigahertz Intel Core i9 or whatever processor you have, I don't even know if whatever, just does things really, really fast. It's pretty cool. The other class I took was CS 480, which is a class about social professional issues in computing. This covered some topics. It was a writing intensive course, so it was a lot of writing, not coding or anything like that. It covered a lot of the big topics that we hear about in the news, like artificial intelligence. That was actually a really big topic, is artificial intelligence, that class, because like these days, like you have GPT-4 is like around the corner, right? Like these things are just like existing. They're just out there. Google Bard, or is it Google Bard? Yeah, whatever. The retarded Google AI that actually couldn't do math. Yeah, that AI. It covered. There was a lot of AI talk in that class. It was pretty cool. The other classes I took was senior capstone. So this is like basically applying everything you learn in your computer science degree, and then you apply it to a project. This project we made, or we're supposed to make, we didn't really succeed, but we got close. We made a machine learning model that was supposed to segmentate a CT scan and produce a 4D model of a heart. It was pretty cool. And then I took a computer game capstone, which is CIS 459, which is pretty cool. That was for my game concentration. So that was a fun class. It was probably the most fun class I've ever taken in my life. We had to make a game. It's a first-person shooter, multiplayer co-op game where you're the bad guy. It's called Wicked Wizards. Check it out. I'll have some video on the screen for it. It's a badass game. Just check it out. There's talk of it being on Steam. We got messages this morning on Discord saying, hey, yo, you should put this on Steam. So it might be on Steam. If it ends up on there, I'll have a link in the description so you go check it out. And also go check out The Amazing Ball. Wishlist it on Steam right now. Go pause this video and go wishlist my game. I'll have a card somewhere. I don't know. I don't think I can put a card in there. But go wishlist it. It'll be in the link in the description. If you're on a console or mobile device, click that freaking button. If you want. I don't know. If you look at the game and you decide it's retarded and you don't want it, I mean, I totally understand. But yeah, anyway. My second semester, I took CIS 491, which is continuation of the senior capstone, so it's a year-long course. So it's still same thing. I took CIS 450, which is game programming design patterns. This covered a lot of design patterns with like respect to game programming, but it covered a lot of useful things like the decorator pattern, the factory pattern, covered, how inheritance can be bad, covered composition, a lot of other different, design patterns. There's a cool book that I got for that class that if you want to learn design patterns, pick it up because it's really useful. And you should get it because it's useful, and it's right here. Head first, design patterns. It's in Java though, but we use C# because Unity, but who cares what language it's in? You should still be able to apply the concepts in here and apply it to your programming language of choice. But yeah, really good book. Highly recommend it. Check it out. I'll have a link in the description for you if you want to learn about design patterns and how to build extensible, maintainable, object-oriented software. If you don't like object-oriented programming, I'm sorry, this book is not for you. Go do functional programming or something. All right, and then the last class I took that semester was CIS, or no, not CIS. It's not a CIS class. IM49, which is my continuation of the game capstone. I wasn't just going to do half the project and not finish it out, so I took the rest of it. I only had 3 classes that semester, and that was those 3. It was so nice. But IM49 was 6 credit hours, so I only needed 12 to graduate that semester. Actually, I only needed 11, but I took 12. But yeah, it was a cool class, and yeah, we made a game. Go make some video games. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video, so we're gonna wrap it up here. If you like the video, leave a like, comment if you have anything to say. Go wishlist The Amazing Ball. Go check it out on Steam. I'm still working on it, even though I haven't worked on it in a while. I probably should get back to it, just like how I stopped YouTube, but I kind of like got caught up with 2 capstones and looking for a job after I graduated, which I have a job now, which is great. I'm a software developer. That's pretty sick, isn't it? Yeah, so go check it out on Steam. I'm going to continue working on it probably today or something. I don't know. I got to go edit this video, so just for you people. Thank you for watching the video. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope that you go eat some food. Drink some water, too. You need that. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, and peace out.